I'm really happy and excited to be here. Apparently, this is the biggest crowd in this room during Dash, so I'm very, very honored. Thank you for showing such an interest. My name is Eric. My name is Eric Song of e-commerce tech team of Shinsegae International. I'll be just going through our story and our journey on Datadog's ROM, basically. So let's get started. Basically, what our journey folds is about two parts. There's two parts of the story. First part is what our initial attempt was about. It was about creating connection between the front end and the back end to visualize and understand our customers' experience on our platform. So it was actually about technical visibility and raising transparency in our domain-driven strategy. So we'll be sharing our approach and the results. And second part of the story is about what surprised us, what we did not expect. So during this course of developing front-end visibilities during our modernization, it actually went beyond the tech teams or engineers. It actually went beyond the engineers, so it went beyond product owners as well. So it got involved with UI, UX designers, marketers, and business units too. That all happened in just a few months' time. Yeah, so I'll be going through that one. So first, before we actually get into the story, just a bit of context to let you guys fill in where we kind of are and what we do as a company. We currently curate different brands, whether if it's fashion, beauty, or furnitures. We are curating these brands to elevate customers' lifestyles mainly. And we are operating shinsegaev.com, which is the official e-commerce platform. The company was originally founded in 1996, focusing on mainly offline retail business, so like department stores. But in recent days, obviously, everything's digitalized, so the company focused on digitalization and creating an app for it. So the app started and launched in 2016, and since then, there's been a tremendous growth. As of April 2024, our brands jumped 30 times, and our products grew by 50 times. So currently, we are accommodating 300,000 daily users of some which spend about $450 on every order. So if you think about the growth that we've recently had since 2016, that's where we are at the moment. Yeah, so during this growth, obviously, the company is completely new to the digital world from the offline department store businesses. So the organization has been learning how adding each features after each features, enabling business capabilities affect customer experience and ultimately driving revenue and users. But we've now reached where the growth has outpaced our organizational or structural or technical structure can keep up with. It actually goes back to our original format of Lego systems where it existed with a lot of DB procedures within DB procedures within DB procedures. So if you actually imagine these applications that existed in databases and trying to accommodate this kind of growth. So the very technology once actually delivered the company a value has become a challenge, challenging the growth. So the system has become very bloated and complicated, and what developers ended up saying to our business units, marketers, and product owners, or even our executives and directors, sorry, we cannot develop that. It's going to take a zillion years. Maybe, maybe not. That kind of answers that we are at the moment. And actually, with just 40 engineers and product owners, it's not just a technical debt we're trying to solve here. We're actually having to obviously deliver some business values to everybody, whether it's brands or our business or marketing teams within the organization. So it was a big, big challenge in terms of trying to solve yesterday's structural challenge whilst delivering business growth. So it's like saying, I guess it's like driving a car and at the same time you're trying to swap a tire. That kind of analogy, I guess. So that's where we came into a modernization of the technical legacy, restructuring old rigid applications that were existed in DB procedures, within DB procedures, and many of them which like 20,000 lines and more. We're breaking these down into smaller service-oriented or microservice applications across multiple cloud environment. So this was to basically make our services or domains to face customers directly and maximize the value delivery. So it was about making our platform to understand our customers in domains better. That's how we sort of started our modernization journey just a few years back. And obviously, during this journey, we made a lot of different migrations and out of old DB procedures, we made into applications and APIs and so on and so forth. We've actually reached a observability cliff where we had no sense of direction or speed or on how on track we are in terms of delivering customer values in each domains. So we actually wanted to understand what's really happening on customer devices and browsers and apps. That's how we basically started exploring Datadog's RUM. But obviously, while engineers and product owners are trying to change a tire in a driving car, nobody fancies extra project, you know? It's just, no, nobody wants to do it. Like, well, what's the point? Like, we're already too handful. So we needed to come up with some kind of framework that's very efficient and scalable for the long run and sustainable for if the platform grows to tens and thousands of more brands and accommodating millions and millions more customers, how our developers, only 40, can accommodate all this workload, right? So we needed to some kind of create a mutual framework or code of conduct. That's how we envisioned it, how we envisioned ourselves to look like, and how each developers wanted to behave like. We wanted everyone to be completely self-organized, just like microservices or service-oriented, to be highly communicating through APIs, but also like humans. You wanted to be highly communicated and always delivering value for our customers and the users and everyone involved in the platform. So based on these principles, we went on to create, implementing the Datadog's RUM. It was just literally just a few lines of code, probably 5 to 6, mainly focusing on visualizing what matters to each domains and microservices. So for example, we wanted to visualize names of brands, names of products, promotion titles or editorial contents that our marketers create, sometimes payment methods, credit card names and things like that, but also order, return, and those kind of status as well, to visualize and completely fully transparent. And after this time, implementation, which took no time, like literally probably 2-3 days maximum, everybody in each domains or microservices worked on their dashboards, trying to find the most critical and the right metrics that suit their own microservice or domain's personalities or characteristics, if you like. So for example, this is a product domains example where the domain is one of the most viewed pages in our platform with a strong correlations with conversions and therefore revenue. But also in terms of technical or engineering sides, it was the fastest growing domain across the entire platform, just because we were dealing with a lot of product informations and details and specifications. Everybody in the brands or marketers or our business units, they wanted to upload 20-minute 4K videos up on their product detail pages just for the show. And it was a very, very big challenge for us, obviously. But just to highlight, I mean, our engineers trying to focus on visualizing these characteristics in their dashboard and identifying which would be their critical elements that would be visualizing their service performance or status. And if we look at another example, for example, order domain, it's more the complicated and most integrated service that we currently have. Communicating with our WMS or ERPs or other microservices within the platform, making probably the dashboards the biggest, but also the most important, because it also deals with users' private information and payment methods. So it's very, very critical but sensitive and confidential information on this. So our order developers or domains engineers are focusing on all these kind of fronts, but also coming from the customer's experience perspective. So if you like, same with the product and other domains, everybody focuses on what's the critical customer journey and elements that we have to visualize to monitor our applications and systems. And if you think these small microservices dashboards like a branch of a tree, so the key metrics are like leaves or fruits, we managed to create a structured approach of visualizing our entire platform from this small microservice dashboards. So a collection of these key metrics from each domains or microservices, it provides now a bird's eye view on the entire platform's performance and status. So we call this as a trunk dashboard, collecting every single key metrics from each microservices. Sorry, the metrics are blurred because apparently our compliance team is not too happy with the metrics showing too much to you guys. So but important thing is all our, whether if it's branch dashboards or the trunk dashboard, these metrics in the dashboards are evolving like our services, like application services. So when the code changes, this will change. So this is important that everybody is on board to making this dashboard very, very dynamic. I guess this is all okay. So what does it actually help? How did it help? Obviously, coming from the front-end perspective approach, we managed to identify a lot of unusual or slow transactions or pages. Some of them had compatibility issues and abusive use cases, or some bot traffics crawling a lot of our data, which may be hindering our real user experiences. So we managed to find these a lot. So I guess if this happens, our instance metrics, our boards, our senior developers and leads were not too happy because they were always constantly being alerted with, here's an incident, here's a bug, here's another bug, they were not too aware of. But it was actually much, much better because before the front-end visibility, we were heavily reliant on our customer center and our customers reporting us with their experience and what's happening on their devices or browsers. So if you think about it, like you're stuck in an order page, or your payment's gone through, you've got the notification on your bank or credit card saying X amount, $450 has been deducted from your current account, but the order status doesn't change, and you have to experience this and report it to our customer center. And obviously, when you're unhappy, you can't really make the full description, right? So it took us beforehand, it was very, very challenging and hassle. But we have managed to take that away from our customers, but also customer centers as well. So it made our developers and engineers and product owners much more proactive and more conscious about what they're trying to deliver. So the session replay also helped us a great deal in this kind of aspect. So in a sense, actually, this made us to be really, really, really responsive in terms of reacting to incidents or bugs. Became 92% faster. So we had average about a few hours of mean time to detection, but now we can really detect within minutes. But it's not about reacting fast, but also it's about how our engineers become more proactive and more conscious of changes or what kind of deployments they're making. So in essence, we have become much more ownership have grown. So it's been a long journey or a short journey. as probably like 3 months. But this has been a real valuable outcome that our engineers, but also our team leaders, has been seeking for a long, long time. But if you look at from the backend perspective, how the backend engineers or infrastructure engineers could look at, if we go back a bit of story, it became much easier to prove the value of engineering restructuring projects, like restructuring 20,000 lines of DB procedures into microservices and then making APIs, so that how this is beneficial to customers has been much, much easier to resonate with our directors and C-suites that are not really come from tech world. So they actually come from a lot of offline retail business. So they think like running an e-commerce platform is like running a building of a department store. But this has become a much, much easier sort of way to represent and persuade our directors to say that, yes, we can fulfill your requirements, or if we do this restructuring project, we will be able to deliver your needs much, much faster in the future. And that kind of a sense, it's been a very, very valuable outcome to prove, with the help of to prove to our directors and C-levels. So far, I guess this is all sort of a normal engineering and product collaboration story, as probably all of you guys are from complete tech world, not from the offline retail businesses. But with the MVPs, and we have done well enough, I guess, and for the tech teams itself, it's been a very achieving sort of journey. But we started to discover a lot more that went beyond our engineers and developers. It actually opened doors for collaborations and opportunities to act better with UI UX designers and so on and so forth. So the first discovery that I'm about to share is about how the front end visibility has given us insights to customers' action on our platform. This has given a complete new insights that we were completely unaware of. So it actually unfolded how our customers started their actual journey in terms of pressing buttons and exploring around our platform. So first one was about the customers start from their own self. So for example, I've saved a MacBook Pro on my wish list, and I've saved power adapter on my basket and things like that. So it was about the customer starting everything from about yourself. The second part was about being very, very explorative and trying to explore what's out there, seeking for new information or new promotions or something that one are unaware of. This insight has given us a completely new approach in designing our platform, which I'll be mentioning shortly. So we managed to get this data out with and collaborated with our UI UX designers to take a complete new approach. And after this, obviously, deploying the ROM, you can also identify the heat maps or scroll maps. This actually added another dimension to our marketing and design teams as well. Mainly because it shifted the conversations from we think users might like this to we know users are more engaging with these certain or specific styles. So you can see where users stop scrolling or product contents are capturing attentions or engagements, or sometimes whether you're losing engagement. And it helped our stakeholding teams and with their operational work and processes. Obviously, this has been an extra dimension, which means we also have other performance analytic tools for marketing and business purposes. So if we go into that a bit, we currently have probably about more than a dozen solutions implemented in our platform, which are not mentioned. Not everything is mentioned there, but we currently have AppsFlyer, TikTok, Kakao, Instagram, Meta, Google Ad, Be Usable, Criteo, GTM, Google Analytics, Medallia, and so on and so forth. It's all for the C-suites and directors, basically. I mean, imagine having these implemented as a JavaScript and working on our front end trying to get all these kind of data, but obviously our stakeholding teams weren't completely aware of how these metrics are collected. We managed to build a pipeline with our stakeholding teams to help them to operate better and make these reports a lot more reliable for the C-suites. That's probably very, very helpful for our internal stakeholding teams. Still a long, long way to go, but we managed to escalate a lot of errors in the reports, and which obviously sometimes our executives remember all the numbers from probably 6 months ago, and they come up, these numbers are lying. You have to come up with the new numbers. This is not what I saw last 6 months ago. So, we helped our teammate members keeping these on track. But obviously, all throughout this journey, not everything has been a shining light and lesson full of learnings. There has been a lot of talking points and debates that we've shared between our developers and engineers. One of which was about solving the silos of monitoring tools. Coming from the very, very legacy systems, obviously we've had APMs, DB monitoring tools, infrastructure or networking, monitoring tools, all separated it out using different solutions. Obviously, this is a big, big operational tax that we often pay when incidents happen, or trying to maximize performances. But we believe that this was a bit too much of a burden, and we could not deliver within the scope of our resources and the time frame. And also, secondly, logging was another still ongoing topic of debate. Obviously, Datadog provides log management solutions. We were very, very keen on trying that out. But obviously, standardizing logs across multiple different applications that are being migrated all the time, it's not very sensible to let's get started with logging and standardizing logs. So we are keeping those in our backlogs and pick something that we will be doing in the future. But we wanted to basically focus more on creating the systems and making ourselves understanding our customers better. So with just a few lines of code, we wanted to just visualize the front-end metrics and how our users are behaving. But it actually has managed, it enabled us to bridge the gaps between not only the technology and product owners, but also business and marketing units better. But also we've managed to influence them to be more proactive and more self-organized, and see our engineering values and collaborate better. But this has been a very, very short short journey, but a gigantic step in terms of thinking like a real tech people and being more customer obsessed so far. So I guess it's important how this impacted our service. Basically, there we go, okay. Basically, we have become much more experimentative and adventurous in terms of exploring or trying different templates and layouts in different areas of platform in order to find what's the best possible shopping or content experience that we can deliver to different type of users, whether down to even individual levels as well. So we are in this journey at the moment. This complete new launch was done probably like less than 2 weeks ago. So we've started a complete new journey on this e-commerce platform, and hopefully, I've been joking with my manager. How about becoming an app that assists you to prepare better and understand what to prepare your anniversaries with your husbands or wives or boyfriend or girlfriend, because you never know what they really want, right? So, So to create this experience on e-commerce, the tech team is under a very, very strong spotlight, like I am right now. The new techs, we'll be exploring a lot of new techs on Amazon, OpenSearch, Bedrocks, or like SageMakers, or even open APIs to create this customized or bespoke shopping experience. But taking this initial learnings on board, the journey is definitely a lot of question of scale, how we can collaborate better with marketing and design units and business units at the same time whilst we are trying to migrate our old legacy systems and delivering these kind of bespoke customer experience. But nonetheless, we've actually learned that the Datadog is not just a dashboards of metrics. It's a collaboration bridge between teams, and we are hoping to utilize Datadog a little bit more to optimize this operational processes in the future. And that's it for what I've prepared, but I would happily take any questions if you have any.
Okay, awesome. Does anybody have any questions for Eric? We've got a mic in the middle here, and I can also run this one around if anybody's sat around. But yeah, got one there. Cool.
Hi, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
I've got a question regarding silos of monitoring tools.
Sure.
Do you have any practical advice on how you're planning to deal with that in the future? For instance, are you planning to put everything in Datadog, or any practical advice there?
Very good question. Thank you. Actually, we are currently using APMs as well on Datadog, but we have not fully deployed to all our services and microservices yet. As I've mentioned, we're trying to spread our microservices on a multi-cloud environment. So we'll firstly go into more of APMs and RUMs on different microservices first, and then we are hoping to utilize the best monitoring solutions for the AI's services first. But the legacy ones, it's kind of a tricky questions, to be fair, because we are actually on a really good deal with them. And it's kind of hard to persuade to what's working fine. It's why do you want to fix something that's working fine, right? And that's kind of an idea where we're trying to persuade to our executives. But we are mainly focusing on the new services and new tech stacks first. I think that's, if it's okay to answering your question.
Got it. Yeah, it makes sense. The reason I'm asking is because my company is going through a similar migration. We're trying to go to a single platform, coming from multiple platforms from different countries. So that's why I asked that. Follow-up question, if I may. Sure. Regarding the selection of APM as the first feature to start using in Datadog, if it's okay to share, was there a rationale or a reasoning behind that, or choosing APM specifically?
With Datadog?
Yeah.
I mean, our main focus was actually RUM, but when we first deployed RUM, it was not much of a useful information in terms of when it comes down to tracing. We had to have APM and index and ingested indexes. So APM had to come along as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, please.
Yeah. Great presentation, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. So I know you mentioned that you had to do some persuading to maybe the C-suite or upper level management. But with this kind of adoption, did you have to do any persuading of your engineers for onboarding these new monitoring tools?
Very good question again. Yes, thank you. Yes, we did. I mean, obviously, not everybody's on board has the same idea, right? So that's why we had a lot of other debates on logging and trying to solve the silos of different monitoring tools. But our initial learnings prove that we had to focus more on the customer's end, as in the front end. I guess without these new discoveries, and that we've probably may not been too compelling to some of our engineers, but it proved that we've discovered a lot of new insights in these with RUM by itself. So I guess throughout this journey, everything just, everybody came on board and aligned.
I see. So it was a matter of giving a proof of concept so they could see the value, and that gave them more confidence in it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Any more questions? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm curious how you went about collaborating with maybe non-technical teammates to create the product dashboards. Did you have any problems with kind of reining in what could or should go into Datadog and become a dashboard for non-technical people?
So yeah, good question again. We mainly focused on creating the dashboard that we can sort of collaborate with product owners mainly. Yes, it's important to collaborate beyond that as well, but it was about making the first step. How can we shorten the gaps between our product owners and the developers, making each product owners, but also each engineers behaving like small microservice. So our main focus was about product owners first. And we had all of our engineers had good communications with the product owners first, and whether this metric is key or not, and if there is other things that they needs to be seen in, and this kind of conversation went on. So, good question. This part of this discussion took a lot longer than the actual implementation and working on visualizing the metrics. This actually took 2 months. The discussions and conversation took 2 months rather than focusing on visualizing the metrics and things like that. Yeah.
Were there a lot of custom metrics for the product team, or were you able to kind of translate the default metrics?
We had a bit of customization in terms of implementing tags, basically, because people wanted to see their own stuff. Obviously, that kind of had to be done just to highlight, some product owners focused on where the traffic origin comes from, for example, like whether if it's Instagram or Google and things like that. So our engineers didn't really think about those kind of metrics. We were like, no, you're not really, who cares, But yeah, those kind of things we had to implement using the custom tags, yeah.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Just to piggyback on actually this gentleman's question on
Sure.
Basically kind of building the inertia with the engineering team to help them adopt like the usage of metrics and things like that. Did I just hear what the strategy basically was, instead of trying to sell the engineering team, he focused on the business aspect, basically, and those learnings from a user business perspective, and then from that the business was like, yeah, we like that, and then taking that back to the engineering team and saying, hey, the business wants this, so you must do this. Was that the kind of strategy that I just heard?
Not quite. Our initial strategy was about making our engineers understanding the customer's experience more, and which means we wanted our engineers to be more conscious of their deliveries and what they are trying to develop or change, whilst during this modernization journey, so that when complete microservices is gets born, engineers are completely aware of what they are implementing and how that's affecting other microservices, but also customers. It was a concept of, our approach was that. And obviously, during that journey, product owners had to come into play, obviously.
And just one quick follow-up. When that happened, what was, if you had to characterize the value proposition that kind of sold the engineering team, what was it like?
Firstly, a lot of our engineers mainly focused on the back end rather than the front end. And our initial thought, or my lead here, BK, he wanted to visualize all the script errors first. There's got to be tons and tons out there that we are not completely aware of. So when we literally deployed the ROM and we saw thousands and thousands of script errors, whether if it's GTM or ourselves, I guess that's how we sort of came into play. And look, what you coded is full of errors and bugs. Obviously, that's some engineers didn't really like it, but it's in the end it was a good impact. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Me
Hello.
again.
Yep.
So I thought of something, since you're an e-commerce company,
Sure. Yep.
Dealing with like payment processing,
Yep.
have you faced any challenges implementing RUM or other Datadog products with like that kind of sensitive data, like being careful of what is ingested and that sort of thing?
Completely, yes. Yes. Especially the user and data, for example, like locations or email address, their names, sometimes credit card details, like not numbers, but not everybody was not too keen on those kind of things. So we had to come up with our own ways of, not showing too much of details on those kind of things.
So with the RUM, I saw some RUM playbacks there.
Yeah.
Did you have to mask out certain pages, like the
Yes.
the order pages or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. You have to mask them a lot.
Yeah, I'm from a healthcare company, so
Yeah,
we do use RUM, but we're very conservative about what we ingest right now.
yeah.
And so, I'm interested in other people's
It's actually a
perspective.
good, very good point. When you actually mask and when there's some kind of bugs that user is experiencing, and if this client or user has spent thousands and thousands of dollars on a platform, and they're experiencing a bug, we kind of have to identify who this person is on RUM, right? But then obviously when it's masked, you can't visualize who it is. So it added another step of tracing that kind of ways. But I guess we have to abide the security rules and confidential rules. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
We've probably got time for one more question. I can bring this mic to you if you can't get to the middle mic. Going once. Going
Round
twice.
twice.
Cool. One more round of applause then for Eric, please.
Thank you. Thank you.